All right, good morning. Questions?
I guess this with Kevin. When you're dealing with a quarterback like Barrett, and without giving the game plan away, but who can run and pass, do you just have to just hit him every play, and pretty much regardless whether it's zone read, whatever, just hit him every play?
Well, I think you got to be. I think you got to take your shots anytime you blitz or try to take him out of the game. The weapons he has on the perimeter. I think that's where. Where they stand out so much from other people is just the amount of weapons they have at wide receiver, the big talented tight end. So you gotta be concerned about those guys as well as the quarterback run and zone read. So I think you certainly got to pick your spots when you can hit the quarterback.
In the first half was drastically different than the second half. What went wrong?
I think the second half was a function of what's hurt us all year is big plays. Our inability to down the ball when it breaks in the open field, being able to down it and play another snap, being able to adjust to sudden change. We had a couple situations, 4 situations where we had we got the ball in our territory, and I believe on only one of them we were successful as far as getting off the field and 3 and out. Otherwise, they scored. So we have to be much better in those situations. Whether it's a turnover, whether in a particular case it was a fake punt attempt that we did not convert. So we just defensively, they drove the ball one time on us down the field for a substantial drive. Other than that, we gave up big plays.
There was a breakdown there on, I think it was Caru's second touchdown. Can you just sort of explain what
The breakdown was we had called in the second half. We had tried to bring more pressure, and we had, it was a coaching error. We had made a call, and one of the corners got another blitz call, and that's on us coaches. And so the corner, we bring in field pressure, and the corner blitz too, and that was who was supposed to have the wide receiver. So disappointing.
Speaking of corners, Coach Wilson seemed to have not too pleased with the overall performance of the secondary in terms of making tackles and things like that. What was your impression?
Well, I think the big thing, the secondary is always the guys that when the ball breaks free or deep balls, we didn't get any pressure. The week before, I think we had 4 or 5 sacks. This week, we didn't have any sacks. So I think the blame goes around. We're not putting pressure on the quarterback, not hitting the quarterback enough where he can sit back there and make those throws. Two of the particular touchdowns were on blitzes where we have to be able to apply more pressure. So the secondary often is the ones on balls break free in the open field. They're the guys that have to down it, but you'd like to be able to not put them in that many positions. So I think there's plenty of blame to go around this week. Well, I think that they were getting the ball off pretty quick. I think for the most part, we had done a pretty good job. We were 4 of 14 on 3rd down, and most of the situations they had were 1st and 10, second different situations where they were max protected and had a little bit of time to get down the field, and so our ability to get off blocks and be able to pressure the quarterback wasn't really good in those situations.
Coach, you've been in this business a long time, and we're obviously brought in here to change Indiana's defense. Has your experience here been any different from your other stops and trying to make incremental progress? I mean, you really probably played 6 consecutive really good quarters of defense, and then the last 2 quarters of record disappointing. But just like the whole arc of the season, has this resembled any of your other experiences, or deviate from it?
I think there are some similarities to go back, but I think the biggest challenge that we talked to our defense was the 4 quarters of Penn State, those first 2 quarters. That's something that we have to expect. It's something that we should not deviate from. It shouldn't be a surprise to them. And so I think what happens when something goes wrong, whether it's our body language, whether, hey, here we go again, we need to push forward through that. And so the 6 quarters we had before the last half of Rutgers is something I hope our kids can expect, something they can anticipate. And so if something does go wrong, whether it's a turnover, whether it's a sudden change, and those are things I think you always, anybody that's dealing with a turnaround program or a certain side of the ball that's gone through struggles, and you're playing with many of the same players, you have to get them to drive through and believe that, hey, it's not here we go again. You know, and our guys have had some successes here at times, so we've made some improvement at times, but certainly that second half, you know, didn't show that improvement. So the biggest challenge for us, and last night, you know, right now, unfortunately, we have 2 games left, and you know, we've got quite a challenge come up here in Columbus, and so our guys just need to, you know, we showed them the errors as a group on you know, how one misfit or one not down on the ball, and then just having everybody count on everybody. In the same sense, we also talked to the guys up front. We don't need to put those defensive backs in those situations. So to answer your question, I think we need to expect to play like we have the previous 6 quarters, and then when something goes wrong, you know, relate back to what we've done the previous 6 quarters.
Game plan, what do you need to do to beat Ohio State?
I think with Ohio State, they've got such big play. You look at the Minnesota game, and they've got such big play ability. And for us, week to week, it's been limiting those big plays. We had 7 3-and-outs. And we're 4-14 on 3rd down against Rutgers. You should be pretty successful doing that. But again, those big plays, and I think that'll be something we stress all week, just with the quarterback's ability to make big plays, not only with his feet, but can throw the ball as well, and the weapons on the perimeter. You know, we have to down the ball in the open space. You know, make them go the distance, and you know, it's a very talented team, but try not to give them anything cheap. All right, thank you.